War. The Republic is crumbling under attacks by... I'm trying to remember. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I remember, I was a kid, right? And I think it was like in 5th grade when this movie came out. And I had the entire opening crawl memorized. Like, I can't remember if I had it memorized shortly after the movie came out or before I think it was before the movie came out. Back then, they weren't quite as secretive over Star Wars as they are nowadays. In fact, I remember Episode 1 actually had spoilers in it, in the soundtrack that was released beforehand. And so I think the track was called Qui-Gon's Noble End. It's like, oh, well, there you go. So they've done a lot better since then. But that was, of course, that was a Phantom Menace. Episode 3, I remember I had a screensaver. Or a desktop, I guess it was a desktop wallpaper, that's what it was, that had the whole opening crawl. And I memorized that. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Of course, I don't know if I got it, if I could recite it now. See, War. The Republic is crumbling under attacks by the ruthless Sith Lord, Count Dooku. Evil is everywhere. No. Sorry, there are heroes on both sides. Evil is everywhere. Don't judge me too hard if I mess this up terribly. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader General Grievous has snuck into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, the supreme leader of the Galactic Senate. I can't really remember it. It says, as the droid leader attempts to flee the besieged capital, 2 Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor, or something like that. Anyway, sorry. I'll try not to bore you with recitations anymore. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. That had a profound influence on my childhood. At that point, I had seen all the other Star Wars films. This was going to be the last one. I think it was around 5th grade, and so I was old enough now to get excited about something and prepare for it. In fact, I think I grew my hair out long, as long as I could for what time I had. Mom kept saying, "Well, we need to cut your hair." I said, "No, I got to look like Anakin when this movie comes out." And I actually had a little like kind of Sith-inspired outfit that one of my sisters made. It's the same sister who I've had a couple of my sisters actually make costumes for me. The one who got me first into Star Wars, she's the one that made the Kit Fisto costume, or at least the little head tentacles. And I'll talk a little bit more about her in another video, in the A New Hope video. But the sister who spoiled the whole Darth Vader and family relationship thing going on in the original trilogy, this is the sister who made the Sith costume for me, and it was pretty cool. I think they found she and my brother found a pattern like at Walmart in the Simplicity costume section, and we got some black fabric and made it, and it looked similar, very similar to Anakin's outfit in Episode 3. So I was all ready to go. And what was really cool is Episode 3, and Episode 1 as well, came out on my birthday. Episode 1, I was probably too little. I didn't see it until later. I talk a little bit more about that in my Phantom Menace video. I saw it still while it was in theaters, but it was not fresh off the press, brand new release. Whereas Episode 3, I was really excited. I wanted to go to the midnight premiere. My mom, I remember she told me, she's like, "That's okay. That's fine. We can do that. We can do the midnight premiere. Or since it's your birthday, if you'd rather, if we go the next day," which I think it would have been like a Friday. She says, "If we go the next day, you can you can invite some friends, just a couple, but you can invite a few friends to come watch the movie with you." When it really came down to it, I was like, yeah, that actually sounds like a lot more fun to invite some friends. And so that's what we ended up doing. We had a big birthday party, and then we went and saw Revenge of the Sith. And oh boy, we were so excited, and we absolutely loved it. I mean, we couldn't stop talking about it. And it was funny. I had a friend, and this is a different friend than the one I talked about in my Phantom Menace video. His birthday was actually just a few days later. And a couple of years later, the 4th Indiana Jones movie came out on his birthday. You know, we often had little combined birthday parties, and so we again revisited the movie theater and watched Indiana Jones, and I think he was a little bit more disappointed by the movie for his birthday than I was for the movie for my birthday, Revenge of the Sith. Granted, you know, even as a kid, I really thought the Indiana Jones movie was a lot of fun. But that's another topic. That's a topic for another day, maybe for another YouTube channel. But no, it was a lot of fun. You know, I had several friends there, and then my sister, I think, who was in college, she came down with some of her roommates and to watch the movie, and I think they did their hair in like buns and different kind of like Princess Leia or Padme like styles, and a lot of good memories. I remember I also had a little R2D2. I think I'd got it for the Christmas prior, an R2D2 interactive droid. They looked very similar to the ones I think that you can get at Galaxy's Edge now, like the same. I mean, as far as size goes, about the same size. And I remember he had a little cup holder, and you could play Spin the Droid, where it was like spin the bottle, but he lit up and pointed at somebody, or he played tag. It was a lot of fun. He could be like a guard dog, basically, or you know, you could tell him to play songs like, I can't remember what you'd say, May the Force be with you, or something, or do you know the Rebels? You'd say something. He would respond with beeps, and he would do like the cantina, you know, that was terrible. But, and then, you know, he would do the Star Wars theme if you asked him if he knew Luke Skywalker. But if you tapped him, if you hit him on the head, he would do his little scream, you know, and then if you asked him to do the song, he would do it again, but this time it would be like really sad. You know, again, that was terrible. I'm not a droid impersonator by any means. It was just a lot of fun, and so I'm pretty sure we played around with him, a little R2D2, and I think I had a big Star Wars cake too. You know, it was such a fun time, and we got to see the final Star Wars film. We had no dreams at that time that there'd ever be any more Star Wars content, you know. And so it was just this big, huge thing that happened. And I remember thinking, this is the greatest movie ever. And I remember even as a kid, I'm like, you know, I don't have a clue how many times I've seen any of the other Star Wars movies, so I'm going to mark how many times I watch this movie every time I see it. And of course, I did not do that. Oh man, we were so excited for just every moment of that film. It was just big and epic, and I think I ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters, you know. And I remember that same sister I mentioned who made the Anakin costume. I remember we would watch these behind the scene documentaries of the making of Star Wars Episode 3, or the making of Vader. I don't know. It was this bonus feature that came with the DVD release of the original trilogy, actually. So this was about a year before Episode 3 came out. And you got to see some of the behind the scenes of Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, you know, fighting. And I remember so, you know, we loved to, I mean, you know, my sister was in college and I was in 5th grade, but, you know, she still loved it. We would make these PVC pipe lightsabers and have these, we'd practice in the backyard, have these battles, try to kind of mimic some of the stuff that they did in the little behind the scenes video. And our favorite was this moment in the behind the scenes where, you know, their lightsabers are locked and they're bringing up and then kind of come back and hit the ground. The blades hit the ground, and then one of them brings his fist up and hits the other in the face. And as he's coming back, he returns the punch right in the face, and like that was our favorite move. And we do that all the time. And we just loved it. And of course, when the movie did finally come out, it wasn't even in it. It wasn't even in the movie. Yeah, that was okay, because the rest of the movie we just thought was amazing. And it's funny, like, you know, a lot of my friends and I already pretty much knew the entire plot of the film. We were just, you know, we were kids, so it didn't matter. We loved it. We thought it was just the best thing ever, you know. We're like, and the amount of visual effects in that film. I think I remember hearing it was the first Star Wars movie that wasn't put up for the best visual effects nomination or something. I'm like, what movie has more visual effects than Star Wars Episode 3? Of course, I mean, back then, it was just an incredible hype, incredible thing to be involved in. And of course, the prequels, thank goodness there wasn't a ton of social media back then, because, the prequels did not get the rapport that the original trilogy received. Although, I've heard even the sequels to the original Star Wars had some split opinions and some controversy surrounding those too. But, the most I really ever heard growing up was, oh, I like the originals better. That's what most people said. I like the original Star Wars better. The prequels weren't as good, that's what I heard. But, you got a whole bunch of people now who grew up with those prequels. That's what got them into Star Wars, and they are beloved. And Episode 3 is now typically the most beloved of the prequels. I've even heard people refer to it as their favorite Star Wars film ever. While it's not personally my favorite, I completely understand why it would be someone's favorite. It is a fantastically made film. I think it is definitely, from a filmmaking standpoint, the best of those three. Now, in my Attack of the Clones video, I do talk a little bit about how I'm hard pressed to make a definitive decision on if I would watch Episode 2 or over Episode 3 or vice versa. I love them both, and the Phantom Menace had always been my least favorite of them, but people like, what? You didn't like the Phantom Menace? I'm like, no, that's not what I said. I just said it was my least favorite. I still love it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it any day. Especially the ending. My goodness, I love the ending to that movie. And if the Phantom Menace is your favorite, it's because it connects with you. You have reasons for that, and that's amazing and wonderful. And it's a great thing. I used to rate the Star Wars movies, actually, to me, by episode. So my least favorite was 1. I like 2 better, then 3, then 4, then 5, and 6. 6 used to be Return of the Jedi used to be my favorite. I just love a good conclusion. I love the ending of that film. I think the lightsaber duel is awesome. I think the space battle is still probably my favorite space battle to this day. I really do like Rogue One though as well, and even the Phantom Menace, and we can keep talking about all the space battles, but and then as I've grown, of course, I think and it changes depending on what mood you're in, and I think now Empire Strikes Back is probably my number 1, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I just think, this film really convinced me that, George Lucas is an incredible storyteller. I mean, his story about the rise of the Empire, the fall of the Republic, the downfall of the Jedi, everything surrounding that is, in my mind, so sophisticated. Yeah, there's flaws. I think there's sometimes, there may be flaws in the dialogue, or even the directing. I mean, the thing about George Lucas, and I don't think this is a secret, is he's not necessarily the best acting director, if you will. He's a really great technical director. I mean, that's why Star Wars looks amazing, And I think Hayden Christensen, I think Natalie Portman, I think they are fantastic actors. I think they also were pretty new actors at the time of the prequels and weren't given a lot of direction, and that can be hard, I think, for a new actor. Whereas you had a little more seasoned actors like Ewan McGregor, Ian McDiarmid, Samuel L. Jackson, who just kind of knew that they could kind of play with it. I think even back in the old movies, Alec Guinness, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Lucas gave them a lot of freedom to just kind of do what they wanted with their characters and adjust the dialogue at times. And so, I think he is a fantastic director when it comes to all the technical aspects of making a film. And I'm really, really excited to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker, as Darth Vader. I just mentioned all that because, I know they've gotten a bad rap, but I actually think he did a great job. Even as I go back, I watch. Maybe some of the dialogue is clunky, but I mean, there's sometimes he has this look on his face, and I'm like, that's not something you see a lot in a movie, but that is a realistic expression. Like, I've seen other people with that expression, so I think he did a great job. Of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's funny. I think, as I've grown up, I've my favorite Jedi has changed over time. You know, it's like, oh, Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker. It even got to the point, I think I was like in 5th or 6th grade. I was telling people, oh, it was Coleman Trebor, and then it switched to Kit Fisto, and actually it would have been before 5th grade, because I think I dressed up as Kit Fisto one year, and I think that was before Episode 3 came out. I liked him just from the second film, you know, and, you know, he seemed like a nice guy. He had that big friendly smile. Anyways, you know, and then to see him try to take on the Chancellor in Episode 3, you know, tough break, but, you know, Kit Fisto's awesome. I'm glad we've gotten a little bit more out of him from, I think, the Clone Wars and everything. But having said that, you know, my favorite character, my favorite Jedi may have changed over time, and does continue to from time to time. There was always one character who was my favorite overall character from Star Wars, and even though he was a Jedi, he was not always necessarily my favorite Jedi so much as just my favorite character, and that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. And don't ask me, oh, which one, Ewan McGregor or Alec Guinness, because my answer is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, the original trilogy or the prequels, he is my favorite character, and I am really excited to see him again, to see Ewan McGregor play him again in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which will be coming out in just a week, I think, right? Just a few days, really. So exciting. When I decided I wanted to get an FX lightsaber, I saved up my money. I think I was in high school, and I had to go with Obi-Wan's lightsaber. And, you know, I've always kind of questioned that decision to some degree, even shortly after, and even much later, as I'm like, maybe I should have gotten, you know, the Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, you know, classic legendary lightsaber, right? And because it looks amazing. It's just so iconic. But, you know, it had to be Obi-Wan for me. It had to be Obi-Wan. And in my, I think the Phantom Menace video, I talk a little bit about also having getting the Darth Vader lightsaber. And sometime later, I actually talked to a guy. I went to his video production studio, and he had 2 FX lightsaber props. It was Anakin's blue lightsaber and Luke's green lightsaber. So, you know, both of Luke's lightsabers. I got to hold those in my hand, and I thought, wow. I said, you know, between your collection and mine, we have the entire original trilogy here. And it kind of made me want to, at some point, eventually, acquire those other 2 lightsabers and have the full trilogy. And then, you know, I love Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and I thought, okay, maybe, you know, I'll get his and I'll have both trilogies. And then, of course, Rise of Skywalker introduced Leia's lightsaber, beautiful lightsaber. The Last Jedi introduced Ben Solo's lightsaber. Rise of Skywalker also introduced Rey's double-bladed, and then Rey's yellow lightsaber. And so I'm like, okay, maybe things are now getting a little out of hand. And you know, I know I can never get all the lightsabers from the prequels. There's so many, and there's people that have the collections of every like FX lightsaber that's licensed official lightsaber that's come out, and wow, that's cool. It's probably a little much for me because I collect several different types of things, but like I think that's cool, you know. But point is, you know, just had to have that Obi-Wan Kenobi. I do love his lightsaber too, and just the character. Oh, just, you know. And it's so funny, you know, it's funny to think about Star Wars and to think about like the name Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like it's a household name now. Like everyone knows Obi-Wan Kenobi, but like if you really think about it, it's a weird name, but it's not anymore. I actually ran into a guy at Walmart. His badge said Kenobi. His first name was Kenobi. I thought that's kind of cool. Like my wife would never allow us to name one of our kids that. I might be lucky if I can get like Ben or something like that, you know. But he actually told us that there was a guy named another guy named Anakin who worked there as well, and they said those meetings got interesting. And I said, well, at least you had the high ground. And you know, he chuckled, he laughed, and said, well, I was actually his superior, so I did have the high ground. So, and I'm taller, I guess. So that would give him the high ground as well. Anyways, I'm getting real sidetracked here, but Revenge of the Sith. I would be really interested to hear, if you stuck around for this long. I'd be interested to hear a little bit about your experience with Revenge of the Sith, what it means to you, what it was like seeing that for the first time, any memory you want to share. Please leave a comment below. Go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more videos like this, as well as plethora of other content on this channel that I will be releasing in the near future. So, hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful day. May the Force be with you.